It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for action in the IndyCar iRacing Series. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gonzo, and welcome to the home of 29 IndyCar races since 1997. It's the Texas Motor Speedway. This is race first coverage of round 2 of the 2022 IndyCar iRacing Series season. Starting today and each and every race day forward of the IndyCar iRacing Series, Race First is pleased to announce that we'll be broadcasting the remaining portion of the schedule from now until the Laguna Seca. And you at home are invited to join us every step of the way. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth this season from the Turn 4 racing team in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series is our oval expert, Nick Sudik. And from the NHR eSports team in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, our IndyCar road expert, Isaac Morris. Guys, Texas is a lone survivor outside of Indianapolis from the IndyCar Civil War of the early 2000s. Why and how has this place passed the test of time with IndyCars? Go ahead, Nick.
Well, I would have to say it's got everything you want in a high-speed oval. It's got close racing. It's got a very, very treacherous turn 1 to turn 2 complex, and a very nice D-shaped oval that tends to throw a wrench when those tires get a little worn out. Brings a lot of action, brings a lot of excitement, and it's all what IndyCar racing is all about, and something unique to American open-wheel racing.
Isaac, from the European point of view.
Well, I mean, Texas is one of those tracks, you know, it's a very difficult one. From experience, you know, you've got to set the car for turn 1 or turn 1 and 2 or turn 3 and 4. You know, you can't set the car up for both ends of the track. You've got to sacrifice the car for half of the track, basically. So it's really going to be exciting today to see who is going to set the car up for the certain corners and who can manage the tires throughout the whole race.
Provisionally on the pole is Brandon Traino with a 217.674. Now, briefly, Texas served both sides of the IndyCar Civil War. There are now 2 track records as it relates to open wheelers. First is the overall track record set in 2001 by 1999 Indy 500 winner Kenny Breck. He was driving for Bobby Rahal in the kart series. Kenny turned a lap at 233.447 miles per hour in qualifying for what would be the infamously canceled kart Firestone 600. Unofficially practiced leading up to that race, Paul Tracy turned an unofficial lap of 236 miles per hour. Putting those speeds in perspective, that's about 1 lap every 22 seconds. The IndyCar track record, an IRL IndyCar track record, was set in 98 by Billy Boat, speed of 225.979 miles per hour, driving for SuperTex himself, AJ Foyt. Since about this time, IRL and IndyCar slowly, wisely slowed down the cars, and then many of the pole-winning laps in the last 23 years or so have been between 215 and 220, which is the case you see right here on our screen with Traino provisionally at 217.674. Still fast, but not as fast. And with that, it's time to stand by in the garage area. It's time to go racing. But before we do, look at tonight's lineup from starting lineup. I would like for you to, if you enjoy race first coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series and you respect the work we put into the stream, then make sure to support us by smashing the like button below and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next race. We're also interactive, so shout out to your favorite team or driver, or let everyone know who was at fault for the last crash with the YouTube live chat function. Now let's get to it at TMS. And let's see how much time we got left before we start gridding up.
Got a couple more drivers turning some final laps. Again, Traino on provisional pole. Gonna be very hard to beat at any oval with any configuration. Definitely looking very strong. Doing a 149, a 24-149 right now. And the last, I think, 2 competitors, Joshua Bolt and Justin Petchar, are not currently having a time put up the board, so they may be starting from the back, waiting for that early chaos.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pack race for the first couple laps until these tires really give in. Go ahead, Isaac. What do you think it's going to be like for the guys starting in the rear?
It's going to be one of those races where I think that you could probably save some fuel here, just chill out, and just maybe hope for that first caution just to gain a few positions. Or it could be one of those cases where there's a caution at the back because people are trying to gain too many positions too quickly, and it's just going to cause some carnage. But I think today these guys are really going to have to be patient with the first few laps and just try and ease into the race instead of trying to gain as many positions as possible.
And don't
Go ahead.
don't count. I was gonna say, don't count out those at the back, the likes of Alexis Newsom, Jesper Orman, and Adam Crane, especially back there. They may have a very, very strong race setup, and they are definitely long-run competitors at 150 laps here.
All right, let's get into the starting lineup. Starting from the pole, Brandon Traino with the 24.150. Next to him is Tim Tomes, 24.184. P3, Marco Aurelio Brasil. P4, Will Lyon. P5, Cesar Manzano. And P6, Matthias Kraus.
Starting 7th is Hayato Matsuda. 8th, Alexander Van de Sant. 9th, Chris Wilhite. Starting 10th, Rob Unglenix. 11th is Peter Kubowski. And 12th is in the 24 car, David Graybill.
Yeah, we're trying our best with some of these names. Matt Hollaball, 13th. Kazuhiro Shiba, 14th. Jonathan Alslam, 15th. Alex Goydam at 16th. Hugo Olsen in P17 and Laura Gerhardt, P18.
19th, as stated, Adam Crane. Look for him to be coming through the field. 20th is Trace Shadid. 21st, Rodrigo Frenzoni. 22nd is Jesper Orman. 23rd, coming off of a wonderful victory in the Open Series earlier in the week, Alexis Newsom. 24th is Andreas Eich. And then not turning a time, but on the final row is 25th, Joshua Bolt. And 26th, Justin Hetschauer.
All right, we are getting ready to go racing
I
here.
realize I'm blinking. I'll get out of the way.
And actually, I realize that we have we're hearing the iRacing radios, so let me just fix that real quick. We don't want to hear that. Sometimes people get a little boisterous.
Something to note, though, especially with such a pack racy start, is Alex maybe having some connection issues, Mr. Van de Sant. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully it's nothing serious, and it'll correct itself really quick. It seems like it's okay. But we are going to be going greens very, very soon.
Yep. They are rounding their turns 3 and 4. High bank, 24-degree oval on this end of the course. A little bit flatter on the other end of the course. That's what makes what Isaac was talking about different. At each end, you got to sacrifice, and we're getting ready to go green. The IIS era on Race First starts today, right now. Lap 1, green flag.
In trouble at the start. I believe that was Alexis Newsom, who may have just lost it right on the start.
And now, yep, that might have been. It's already been towed directly back to the pits. Let's do a real quick rewind here. Go back in the time machine and find out what happened to Alexis coming off of turn number 2 on lap 1.
Yeah, it also looks like Peter Kubowski was also involved with his own little incident there, but it looks like he just stepped on the brakes in front of someone, and it was quite a weird incident, that.
Here we go, looking from Race First 1 airship, coming through turns 1 and 2, down low, where the car does tend to get loose, off the corner, and that's what happened. She got loose and then gets clipped by, I'm not sure, it was one of the, is it Adam Crane? No, not sure who it was that got clipped. It was one of the AAR cars. Matt Hollenball. Yeah, Matt Hollenball got clipped, and he is missing a right front wing, so he's going to have to... no, actually, it magically reappears. So imagine that. But looks like that Alexis's day is over as soon as it started. Hopefully she can get repaired and maybe get some laps in. And it looks like Peter's already done too, and that's a shame.
Yeah, there were actually 2 separate incidents there. Alexis, I think there might be a little bit confusion. Alexis actually spun off of the start in the quad oval. And yeah, there was also that incident with Hollabaugh, Peter and company on the backstretch. So very, very chaotic. I like I said at the start, this is going to be quite a eventful race. Strategy is going to play a huge factor here, but those cautions are going to throw a huge wrench into any strategy attempted.
Yeah, luckily it was only on lap 1, so there wasn't a large green flag run. So
No.
luckily these people at the back who are taking the stop now won't lose too much ground.
Yeah, and we're looking about 20, actually about 50 laps, isn't it, for about a stint here. So if they're going to probably separate it into even halves, or even not even halves, but even portions. But do you think it will be that easy, or do you think they'll actually, because of the tire degradation here, might make an extra stop out of it to make sure the tires are fresh at the end?
I mean, if we get a large green flag stop, I would not be surprised if somebody tries some sort of alternate strategy instead of saving the tires, just going full go. You're going to lose your tires before your fuel is really an issue here. I think the track is already at 41 Celsius. It's hot. It's just going to probably get hotter, I would imagine. So don't be surprised if you see a very strong undercut, and B, somebody going off sequence and maybe either trying to get an extra set of tires, or even on the obverse, try to save their tires with pace and try to keep that extra pit stop away. But we shall see.
Lights are still up.
Their...
Well, go ahead, Isaac.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, well, with their in-sim time being 2:30 right now, it looks like that the track will slowly get cooler. As 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock is that golden spot where the track likes to start to cool off a little bit. So what we could be seeing later on in the race is people saving fuel and trying to use that last stint to really go harder on the tires, whereas they use this first 2 stints to really look after the tires and save as much fuel so they can go faster towards the end. And
that last stint then should be a shorter stint for them, and they'll be on lighter tanks and fresher tires. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, so I'd say you're only on like 4 or 5 laps worth of fuel lighter, but if you're going flat out, full gas, I can probably imagine it will make a little bit of a difference.
Now tonight you're going to see multiple lanes through turns 1 and 2. Nick, that's probably what the nice beauty about the reconfiguration here at Texas is, that it opened up multiple grooves, at least turns 1 and 2. Turns 3 and 4 are going to pretty much be on the bottom all the time. But what makes turns 1 and 2 a lot more special than turns 3 and 4 here?
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. The top groove really starts to come into play. Given your setup, again, open setup, so they are going to be a little bit different loads on the tires. If you do try to run on the bottom, generally though, you're going to be chewing up your tires a little bit more than pounding the outside. That being said, you are carrying more speed. You gotta watch your control coming out of the high side of 2. Car really likes to get squirrely the higher that you get out of 2, and even out of 4 as well too. But yeah, that 1-2 complex it doesn't look on paper like it's much different from 3 and 4, but the banking lets you carry more momentum on the top, as well as it is a little bit tighter coming off just because you don't have the quad over to deal with. But yeah, it definitely promotes some side by side, as well as you can set up some wonderful moves going into 3 to take that inside line.
Getting ready to go green here on lap 5 of 150. Getting ready to see the pace car duck off. Field is under the command of Brandon Traino. Here we go. Restart. Nice breakaway for Brandon. He's got a little bit of a cushion between himself and MAB. Tim Tomes P3, Will Lyons P4, Manzello P5. Van de Sant hanging on with the connection issues. VDS there in P6.
We got a spin out of turn 2. We got another yellow flag. Joshua Bolt.
Joshua Bolt.
Just hit the inside wall.
All right, we got him right here. Let's see what happened. That maybe more of the, yep. I don't want to say it's more of the same, but it looks very similar to what Alexis had, which is going through the bottom in turns 1 and 2. For whatever reason, the cars get loose down there, and especially on restarts, and that's what happened. Looks like it comes off and gets loose right on exit.
That might just be, honestly, a matter of tires are really cold, and just carrying, honestly, probably a little bit too much weight jacker or a little bit too much of a stiff ARB with how cold the tires are. Coming off a 2, like I said, that's a big problem spot if you don't know how to come from the line that if you have to go on a line that you're not used to over there, it's going to catch you out. And right there on cold tires, it caught Joshua out, unfortunately, and his day is looking pretty much done.
Yeah, he's got that wobbly left front. He's rejoining the rear of the pack. A number of cars hitting pit road right now. Matt Hollenball, Jesper Orman, Andreas Eich, Hugo Olsen, all on pit road right now. Looks like they're going to go ahead and top off, get new set of tires. There is no tire limit, unlike our Monday coverage in the Monday Night Indy Fix. There's 3 sets of tires there. There is no tire limits here among these drivers. So smoke them if you got them. Really, it's just pit every lap if you need to get a new set of tires here. But there is unlimited number of tires, so they can use them up to their heart's content. But it looks like it's everyone from 17th on back has made a stop there. So right now the top 16 on the original set of tires, but really we're only looking at about 2, maybe a lap and a half of green flag racing so far.
Isaac hit the nail on the head actually earlier. Tires are going to be at a premium. Even a couple laps extra that you might have of life in them is going to go a long way for you. And I think that's what's being kind of shown right now, especially for those who might have been mid-pack or on back. They got nothing to lose early on. They could take a little bit extra fuel, take a little less later on that last stint especially, and then be able to even up and get the track position back now.
Well, it's also getting topped off here that they'll have at least another 2 or 3 racing laps worth of fuel that during that crossover period, something can happen. And those guys will be a lap up on the entire field, while those that just stopped are going to be probably at the minimum of a lap down, if not more, depending on where they're pitting from.
Yeah, pit entry here off of 4 is going to be very, very difficult on old tires. It will get easier as the track does start to cool off around, like Isaac said, around 3:30 once we get later in the run. I'm just hoping, for the sake of everybody being able to utilize their strategies, that we do get a good green flag run here, and it will be able to start breaking up the pack.
Well, so far we've seen one trouble area on this racetrack, and that's really the turn 2, exit of 2, where the cars tend to get loose. Later in the runs, we're going to start seeing action off turn 4. Mainly because the rears have given up, and for whatever reason the banking there falls off somewhat abruptly, and also when you get close to that wall you'll build up a bubble of air that will want to push the car off it, and that will often push the rear end around. So towards the end of stints, we'll be paying attention to those kind of getting squirrely off of 4 and shooting through the grassy area of the quad oval, and maybe start bringing out some late cautions or cautions late in a run as a result of that. Some of that also has to do with too much weight jacker. This is an open setup event, unlike Indy Fixed. Just by its name, it's a fixed setup. Everyone's on the same setup, although they do have access to the tools. When I say tools, they mean the front sway bar, the rear sway bar, or the anti-roll bar, and also the weight jacker, which is basically controlling the ride height of your right rear. Also, they'll have control of when they hit the pits, they'll have control of adding additional wing, taking wing in or out, and also adding tire pressure, decreasing or increasing it as they hit pit road. But a lot of these guys are working on setups that they've been developing for months, weeks, years. A lot of these guys, especially this leader, Brandon, I'm sure he's been working on this particular setup for quite a while in his private stash. This is one you won't see posted on one of those iRacing subscription sites. But yeah, these guys, this is an open setup, so it's a little bit differently. And so we're going to start seeing cars behaving differently, unlike the fixed series where everything falls off all at once. It might not be the case here in the open series, where a car might be set up to go longer versus shorter, and some other people might go shorter versus longer.
Real quick before we get to green, I just want to point out Alexis Newsom is back on the track, did get more fuel and more tires. Don't be surprised if she tries to get a lap back at some point as we get to green.
Back under green. Lap 10.
Oh, we've got another spinner off turn 2.
You know, the most that we've talked about turn 2 so far this race, I think Raceforce might be able to work out some sort of sponsorship deal with a small business. The Charlotte Roval has the Tom's Heartburn turn 1.
And it looks like it is Alex Goydam. Let's see what happened there. It might have been another third verse, same as the first, possibly. Let's see here as we rewind here back in time. You would think at this point, I mean, I'm not questioning a lot of these guys. These guys, I mean, the rating, the strength of field rating is 4,100 for this. So these guys all know how to run ovals. You would think by now, after 2 cautions and the same thing pretty much happening, that they would be more prepared for this. But it doesn't look like they really are. I guess, now, if I was in one of these cars, I'd be going a little bit more negative, or maybe right into the negatives on the weight jacker for at least the first lap or the first set of turns before really getting the weight jacker back to the level that I wanted at.
One thing I really like to do, and again, it's going to be a little bit of driver's preference, obviously. Some people prefer a more loose car, even early in the run. At the start of any run, whether it's in a fixed setup or open setup, at any intermediate track that has like a huge drop off of banking, especially like turn 2, turn 4 here at Texas, Charlotte's the same way. It's always better, especially if you're further in the pack where the air is a little bit less unpredictable. You should be running negative weight jacker, at least more negative than what you should be. Just put a little bit of less load onto that right rear. Don't try to burn it in. There's no grip there at all. So the more you lean on it, the more you have the potential to do the big die off of your first set of turns. And sure enough, that's just what's been happening, I'm sure. A lot of practice has been done on super hot tires, so this is a scenario that honestly, you don't really practice a lot of.
Well, and aerodynamics isn't working for you there either, because your car is still coming up to speed, and you're not generating the downforce you normally would at, 210, 215 around here. You're hitting turn 1 maybe 200 or less. So you're still I'm not sure how many hundreds of pounds of difference in downforce it is between a 180 miles an hour versus 220, but I would think that there's a lot more downforce because there's a lot more air going over your aerodynamics faster. So I'd imagine that also aerodynamics is not working for you, that if your car is set up to go loose, it's actually set up to go loose with full downforce being applied to it. When you're coming through a corner and you're not having full downforce applied to it, that would also explain why cars are getting loose on the starts.
Another thing that could possibly be affecting people with their setup is the wind speed right now. We've got a 22 km/h wind speed going south, and I'm pretty sure the exit of turn 2 is north facing. So as they're going up the track, they've got a tailwind. So that could be affecting the downforce.
Yeah, no, you know what? You just hit the nail on the head. I was trying to bring up the conditions myself, and as soon as you were saying it, I popped up, and I'm like, that's strong. That's really strong. That's like Midwestern weather there.
Yeah, no, people like Brandon Traino and all these like higher level guys, like you're talking like Will Lyon, Tim Tomes, Alex, and all these guys, they've probably set up the car in preparation for interchangeable conditions. So like the wind isn't going to affect these top guys as much as the guys at the back because of the experience and knowledge of setup building. And half of these guys have probably gone onto a setup shop and just purchased the setup and just gone ahead and done that. But you'd never know. Like these guys could have taken this into account or may not have and just got lucky today.
You know what? Let me ask you something real quick, Alex, or Isaac, as Alex was actually looking at the chat down there. Hi, by the way, Alex. I'm sorry if the race isn't going so well right now. But Isaac, what you were talking about with setups, you do have a bit of experience building some good quality setups. I know, especially for road, I've driven a few of yours, whether in leagues or otherwise. How do you build that for interchangeable conditions? Are you just giving yourself more wiggle room in terms of in-car adjustments to be able to do, and adjustments through pit stops?
Well, I mean, it's a bit difficult to build a setup for interchangeable conditions, because if you build the setup for a wind condition saying go northwest, you're going to have like everything prepped and sorted, ready for the wind to be going that way, for example. But then if the wind changes mid-race and is going southwest, everything that you've taken into account at the beginning of building the setup is just going to be completely thrown out the window. So,
right.
These guys are going to have to do things on the fly, and the best thing that they could probably do is just change the value of their weight jacker. And as we go back to green, I'm noticing Brandon's taking an opportunity to jump everyone nice and early to get a nice little gap to P2.
Yeah, he got a huge jump there right off the back.
Yeah, it's already about a half-second lead, about 4/10 already.
We may be completing a lap.
All right, guys, let's get into it now. Let's get into it. There you see the multiple lines occurring. You see Traino down low, MAB up in the middle. Tim Tomes looks like he might have gone a little bit higher. Alex Vanesan a pass for position down the backstretch. Wow, he is really moving. He is going on the high side of Will Lyon. He got a heck of a run down the back straight.
Yeah, he's using the little bit of draft from Timmy over there in P3. Didn't have any dirty air with the crossover as well.
Wow. Just steers right under him. Now, that's where you see the difference in lines and the difference in momentum coming off that corner.
From my own experience here, especially early on in a run when you have the maneuverability, it takes about a good lap and a half to set up a good run and get the good momentum to be able to do that crossover move out of 1 and 2 is a really good tool. But if you get any sort of dirty air on your wing,
Will Lyon pass for third. Sorry. Oh, Alex going to follow Lyon on through on the position on Tomes. And one lap, Tomes goes from third to fifth.
Yeah, I'm noticing Tim's car is a little bit squirrely, a little bit of counter steer going on in the tri-oval, the quad oval rather, and then upon entry into turn 1, so might be still getting those tires a little bit up to temp. They should be close though. The couple laps under their belt already. As he's now getting challenged by Kraus.
Kraus was looking down low. I thought for a second he was going to try to shove the nose in there and try to pass through the grass like we've seen in the IndyCar races in the past here.
Are we sure this isn't a fixed race and it's only like 70, 80 laps? Because my God, they are racing like it's the final couple laps here. This is great.
Let's pop on board Matthias Kraus here as he's riding the high line through turns 1 and 2. Fifth gear, getting a run down the backstretch. Tome's right up to take the position next to the wall, but it looks like Kraus is going to have the position down low.
I'm sorry I'm being so quiet here, guys. I'm watching Alex and Will just go at it, and how close they're getting out of turn 4 is just nail-biting. I'm just sitting here on the edge of my seat, just waiting for something to happen. But these two guys, they're brilliant drivers. So there's going to be a mutual respect between them, and they just get in ever so close to the tri-oval, and it's crazy.
You see, Alex keeps kind of popping up high a little bit in 3 and 4, and then dipping down low, kind of using that banking, open up the radius of the corner a little bit, trying to get a nose inside there, going into 1. He really wants to run that car low, I think, in 1 and 2 right now, at least early on in this run. But Will is saying, no way. I know your game. And, this is just great. It's good battle here early on.
Yeah, Will's one of the best that I know on road courses. Alex, one of the best that I know on ovals. Let's see who can combine the best of both worlds and make this pass count. But this is a battle for third place. Current leader is Brandon Traino up front. MAB is P2. And currently watching this tight battle for third between Will Lyon and VDS, as we are now lap 26 of 150 here of the IndyCar iRacing Series Round 2 race at Texas Motor Speedway.
Marco was thinking about making a move on Traino there for the lead. Got a little too ambitious, got a little too close to the rear wing, started pushing up out of turn 2. So lost a little bit of ground, but I am noticing a little bit of a trend here, at least with the top 6 or top 8. They've all kind of split into groups of 2.
Yeah,
now,
with them splitting into these small groups, I think these guys are going to probably have to calm it down and probably look
work together.
Long run pace. Yeah, work together and just try and make sure that they get the car to the final stint, so then we can watch some epic battles then.
Let's give a shout out to Adam Crane in P10. Let's keep an eye on him. He is up 9 spots since the start. He's the man on the move so far.
Yeah, as you may know, Adam Crane is a very talented driver on oval and road courses. So with him being in P10, I think he's in a nice little position here to, look after the car and just, full send it towards the end. And I know Adam, and he's very good with his long run pace, so I wouldn't count him out anytime soon.
Yeah, taking a look at Adam's laps, the last probably half dozen so laps, they've all been within the mid-.5s to mid-.6s. So saving a little bit of fuel. He's also offsetting his line a little bit, trying to save the tires a little bit. So I would bet my money that, just like you said, that he's betting on a long run. Definitely going to get stronger as the run even gets closer to like 30, 35 laps and beyond, all the way through the rest of the fuel stint.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if we want to switch our focus back to P12, Matt Holliver. He's got a little bit of a truly train on an oval.
Oh, yeah, he does.
There's about a 7-8 car group, and there's us saying about splitting into smaller groups, but there's one massive one right there, and they're all swapping back and forth for positions every lap, and it's looking very close between some drivers.
Currently watching the battle between Hollenball, Hugo Olsen.
And just as a note too, Hollabaw's group and group behind him, a lot of those drivers are some of those drivers that kind of pitted on lap 13, 14-ish. They have the fresher tires. So it'll be interesting to see the progress again as we get maybe about 10, 15 laps further in this run, as Matt's starting to use that high line, trying to save the tires a little bit as well too, I can tell.
Yeah, Hollenball was the first of those. Here comes Jesper Orman for pass for position, moving him up to 14th spot. He's the first of the guys that stopped. Hollenball is. So remember, like, I think he started 18th because the top 17 were the ones, or I think, oh, let me recall, 17th and on back is what actually pit that last time. So he's moved up 6 spots already, now moved up 7 spots as he get around Tomes going into turn 3.
Is taking a peek now back at 3rd, 4th, 5th. Kraus, I believe, has started to join the fray, as well as Wilhite is starting. So the battle for that 3rd and final podium position spot right now is starting to close back up. Drivers are getting settled in. It will be getting very dicey very quickly, I have a feeling again.
Will getting the position back for P3, turns 3 and 4. There you see multiple lines, how it's working in turns 1 and 2 there. A little bit flatter over there, 20 degrees of banking versus 24 that you have at the other end.
Yeah, I just jumped onto Tim Tomes' replay and spotted that about 3 or 4 laps ago now. He got wide after turn 2, clipped the wall, so that makes sense why he's dropped a bunch of positions.
Let's go back. He is in 15th at the moment, so he is sporting a little damage. Probably wanting that caution about now in hopes that he is not it.
Yeah, it looked like he was suffering from a lot of understeer early on in the corner, and he just rose up the track, and there's nothing that he can do. He was a passenger to the effect of the understeer.
Yeah, and he is definitely down on speed. Rob Euclid, and I hope I'm saying that name right, Rob. I've seen you so many times in some of these series races. I should know it. My name gets butchered all the time, so I apologize. But Rob there just moved right by him like he was standing still on the high side in turns 3 and 4. So I think he's just kind of hanging on, but they're kind of queuing up behind him, starting with Olschlam, Shiba, and Gerhardt as they're looking to make up the position. Tomes back here in 16th. Another car on the move, Jesper Orman. He is now up to P12. He is up 10 spots in this race. And Andreas Ike, like Ike, I want to be like Ike, P11, or actually he is up 11 spots to P13.
Yeah, Ike, I was very surprised how low in the grid that he started, but again, I called it, and I'm glad to see it play out, because that's always a great storyline throughout the race, is seeing how much further the people in the back can go. Already about halfway there up to the lead spot, so get a good caution or two his way, and he will be right in the thick of things.
There are certain teams out there in the IndyCar iRacing community that I would not question if a driver of theirs decided to start shotgun in the field, because I would think they probably have the setup to get up front. And Team Talent, that's a team that Andreas is on. That's one of those teams. And when I saw him qualify back there, I'm like, I'm not going to question it, because probably by mid-race he's going to be mid-pack. Well, we're not even mid-race yet, and he is mid-pack.
That's very true. Team Talent, I5G, Power Slide, we have IAR, we have quite the representation here in this field right now. So it's always very, very good to see such a vast diversity of teams, nationalities, and driving styles represented here within the iRacing IndyCar Series.
Alex up high, like NASCAR up high,
pulling the Larson line there almost. My goodness.
Now, Alex is very detail oriented, and one of the things he told me that some of these tracks have is like a grip strip at the very top, and if you could find it, it's going to work to your advantage. And I think that's what he almost got the wall there. Got to watch when you race that high, the wall comes up on you pretty quick. But he's finding that grip strip and trying to get that big run down the backstretch. But 3 distinct lines actually in turns 1 and 2 by this group.
A couple weird bumps there as you get really close to the wall, though. I think you might have just hit a little weird patch of asphalt there. Just get a little understeer, got a little tight. And then
here comes Chris Wilhite. Oh, he decides he's going to take him up high. Chris Wilhite, your champion last season of the Division 1 Indy Fixed Series. And it
using
was
that momentum.
he was basically a model of consistency. The guy that finished second had more wins, but when it came down to it, Chris Wilhite had more consistent finishes in the top five. Very reminiscent to 1978, Tom Sneva winning the national championship with no victories whatsoever. You could do it.
Yeah, sorry about that, Gary, but I was very surprised. Just instinctively, Chris started using his momentum up high, taking a wide angle through 1 and 2, and just did it again there, making up probably half the distance, at least 4 or 5 car lanes through to Van de Sant there, right through that turn 1, turn 2 area, and still pulling in further.
Starting high, exiting low, kind of using the banking to his advantage.
Mm-hmm. Might have a good setup here if Alex does not defend. He does take the air off of Chris's nose a little bit, but Chris is gonna have a huge draft. Is Alex gonna defend? Chris goes way low. Looking inside, has a little bit of a weird angle going in. Alex might have the momentum on the outside.
It's gonna be close.
Yeah, if he was able to get down low between 3 and 4, he would have pulled that off. But the way that turn 1 and 2 are constructed, the high line definitely was the way to defend there.
Yeah, if you can just carry your momentum through there, it is very, very easy to defend on that high line. But you got to keep the momentum up.
Battle of the power teams, Team Power Slide, Indy Alliance Racing. Here's down low to 3 and 4, and this is where I think he's going to get the pass here. Yeah, he's clear. Now, will he be able to pull up in front and keep Alex behind him? That is a pass for 4th.
A big key here is...
Whoa, look at this. Look at this, 3 different lines through turns 1 and 2.
I saw the opportunity, and he just sent it up the inside then. Fair play to the guy.
Oh, getting ready to go 3 wide in turns 3 and 4. Not as wide there. And not much going on at the lead at the moment. This is where the battle is right now. This is all for P3, or actually P4.
Yeah, one person that's looking at this ding-dong battle back here is Adam Crane, sitting in P8, only 1.4 seconds behind. He's just got 1 car to clear, which is Cesar Mazzanto, and he's going to be right in there with this battle. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to be saying. That's just opening up a further gap up to the road ahead, and it's just bringing the rest of the pack, especially the likes of Adam Crane, Olsen, Orman, Hollabaugh, all of the people that have fresher rubber.
Now we're starting to see some lap traffic getting involved here. I believe, who is in front of them?
David Graybill.
David Graybill, okay. He's in one of the 2 Scours cars here in the lineup. Isaac's other team. And then we got, I think that's, is that Justin in the player's car?
It is, yes.
Yeah, he got down low and letting the leaders on by. He's getting ready to get overtaken here by Hugo Olsen. He's with the Power Slide team.
Yes, I can say from experience, being a lapped car coming out of the pits, when you've got the leaders coming around battling for position, it can seem very intimidating seeing 3 or 4 cars just becoming very large in your mirrors all of a sudden. So it is a good idea to get out of the way ASAP.
Lap 56 of 150. So now the leaders are looking at pit stops coming up. When do we think that they're stopping?
Well, oh, sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm wondering, actually, as we get a call from Alex Van de Sant right now that he's coming in, and within the next 5 laps, they should be all coming in because you don't want to risk getting undercut too far. As well as, again, you've got those drivers with fresher tires. They have been saving them as well, too, behind. So just pit a little earlier. As long as you hit that 50 lap mark, you are good to go from the way the strategy is playing out right now in this race.
Here we got Wilhite and Van de Sant hitting their stalls.
I think we're going to have a little race off pit road here.
This is going to be fun.
Alex and Chris.
I wouldn't be surprised, and actually neither of them short fill, at least to our knowledge, so...
Alex has already got a run coming off pit road. Now, the apron is pretty treacherous, even at the newer version. It's very slippery down there, so you got to kind of tippy-toe it through there. You can't really lay down all the power. Plus, you're on cold tires.
Yeah, Alex is going to let his tires warm up, try to probably get a run there. Try to use the draft of the lapped car there just for a second, but didn't quite work out just because of how quick they were going through that corner, still getting up to speed.
These two,
to be very interesting.
These two rejoin back here. Wow, here he goes. I was getting ready to move to somebody else, but there's a battle for what will be a position when the pit cycle completes.
Brazil and Lion also just pitting right now.
Yeah, Van de Sant and Will Height rejoined at 20. Brazil. That's going to cost. Oh, that's really going to cost them.
Oh, that's about 3 or 4 seconds lost on pit lane right there. Lion had a perfect box, so he's definitely going to get a good gap. Might even make up some time. But for Marco coming out with another car to his right, ooh,
and he concedes that position. He just lets him go. How frustrating is that, guys? You're coming into that pit. You got these marks. You hit them all the time, and the one time you need to hit them, you slide through them.
Yeah, no. I actually had a fixed Indy 500 get thrown away because I slid through. I could have overtaken the leaders, and I kind of squandered it because I got nervous. One of my first fixed Indy 500s, and. Yeah, it's very frustrating, and I can just imagine the same, especially in a tight battle in the IIS, where every point's going to matter at the end of the season here. Every single point.
Yeah, honestly, like, you can work so hard to get yourself in a really good position on track, and, you know, have a really good track position. Like, Brazil was running P2, I believe, before he pitted, and now with that small incident, he's going to be probably effectively like P9, P8. All that hard work that he did in the first inning has just been thrown away now, and, you know, he's going to have to work super hard to get back to where he was.
But this is where a good headspace is. Use your racecraft, use your experience, and just start plowing away some laps. Keep it clean, because again, there's going to be another caution inevitably in this race. The way the tires wear, the way the action has been, as we see a wing down on the apron there in the bottom of the backstretch. Don't know where that's from. But just having adversity, there's still a long way to go in this race, over half the race still. So don't count Marco out by any means at all. He's very, very strong, and he does definitely know how to flick away some fast laps, especially when it matters.
Yeah, this is a lot longer than the fixed races that we watch. Fixed races are about 75 laps. This is 150, so it's a little bit more of a mini marathon, so to speak. Getting past necessarily here is not a bad thing. I know people don't like being passed at all in the fixed series because of the nature of how short it is.
Yeah, I may have heard a few bad words here or there when people get passed in Indy fixed compared to open or IIS. So it is nice to see cooler heads prevailing right now, especially with the chaos from early on.
If you're just joining us, we had a bit of a rough start. The first 15 laps or so, we were watching iPacing, but since then we've been clean and green. The first pit cycle for much of the field was done under green. All those that pitted amongst the first group, I think starting with Matt Hollenbaugh, I believe he has... Let me think here. Has he already stopped?
Yes. Matt has stopped. The only car that has not stopped has been Newsom out of anybody who is a lap down or less, or on the lead lap. Newsom's probably trying to stay out, hope for an incident, and get that lap back. Like I was saying earlier, it's a good strategy to do rather than just taking the wave around, especially a caution can come out at any minute here, even in clean air. you touch the apron, oof, you're gone. So
As we like to say, apron bad. Lexus Newsom sporting the Team I5G livery. That's new.
yeah, Alexis recently signed up onto I5G with a couple other of notable persons. You may have heard a couple of them. Maybe Brandon Traino is involved with them, etc. But yeah, no, and she had a really strong outing in the Open Series. Actually won her first race out for a new team. We have an incident on the backstretch low. Trying to see who it is.
Is that Justin?
Believe it is. No.
It would have been that bad. They just went straight to the pits.
Oof.
Oh, it was Tim Tomes.
It was Tim.
All right.
It was basically a mirror image of what happened at the beginning with those first couple of cautions.
All right, let's take a look at it from the race first one airship. Here he comes. In the corner, off the corner, getting loose. Nose is right on in. Day is done, unfortunately, there for Tim Tomes.
You could see it. Oh, go ahead, Gary.
A slight hit early on kind of doomed him, and that really just was the coup de grace. Coup de grace for that car.
He was saying that over in the voice chat, I am monitoring the comms. He did take a little bit more damage, and it would kind of unbalance the car a little bit, and it just did not feel right. So whether maybe the toe was knocked out just slightly a little bit more, or whether maybe a little bit more side pod damage made it turn a little unevenly. But yeah, unfortunately for Tim, strong qualifying. Day done, unfortunately, but it is good to see Tim back here in some top split action. It's been a hot minute since I've seen him in the sim, so always nice to see him competing.
And now, the person I think that should be buying a lottery ticket tonight is Alexis.
Alexis, exactly. We were just talking about it. We were just talking about it. Yep.
Gonna say, Alexis, if you're watching this back, if your bracket's been busted already, stay in it. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more upsets turning around for you.
Now, she's from Kentucky, so they take their basketball seriously down there. A lot like Indiana.
Unfortunately, not serious enough to win against a 15 seed. But anywho.
Oh, Alex is going slow on the apron. Has he received a EOL for exiting a closed pits?
Or maybe speeding on pit road. I think he might have been one among those at pit. Let me let's rewind here a little bit and watch Alex as he comes off with the rest of the cars.
I'm not too sure if you recall correctly, Gary, but Vol at Iowa, me and Alex were actually racing for the lead, and we came into the pits at the final caution, and he had to have an EOL, and effectively that's what allowed me to win the race. So could he just have a bit of bad luck there?
Well, I mean, then that means all the other cars coming out with him, which are basically side by side, are going to be having that problem. My guess is that he got excited coming off of the concrete there and didn't smack the button to get the limiter back on, because sometimes people turn the limiter off when they're in the stall so they can get out with full power, and I'm wondering if that's what happened, is that maybe he didn't click it quick enough and now he has to go to the rear. Now, that's nothing new for Alex. We've seen him start from the rear from a number of times, but it's just going to make a long day a little bit longer as we're getting right up to the halfway point.
Yeah, it's just I find it a bit weird that speeding in pits gives you an EOL. I always thought it gave you a stop and go or a drive-through penalty. I've never experienced speeding in pits to give you an end of line.
Now, I think the only way that I know that is during the Lionheart Speedway race on Monday that I was in. The car in front of me told me on the radio, go ahead and pass, and I look up and I see the graphic that says, pass, and I wasn't even paying attention to it. I thought it was just telling me to follow that car, and he later got on the radio and said that he had the get an EOL because he sped on pit road. But you're right. I thought it was something different, but now I guess if you speed, they just send you back to the end of the line.
So a little bit of state of play here as the track temperature has dropped now to 39 C. We started at, I believe, 41. Might have gotten to 42 for a brief moment.
For you Americans out there, it's 103 Fahrenheit.
This is opposite day here in the race first universe.
Hey, this is Texas. They don't do anything metric in Texas.
It's true. The only thing metric is the metric ton of barbecue that I would love to be eating right now.
There you go. There you go. They would measure it in that.
So we do have a little bit of a split strategy going on. Brandon Trano on back did come back in.
Yes.
Jesper, 7th place, on up to Kraus. All have anywhere between 6 for a couple of them to 14 for Matsuda and Marco Brazil. Lap old tires already.
You probably throw Ike into that group too. He's got 9 laps on his current stint too, so he's in the neighborhood.
Yes.
And we're getting ready to go green. Leaders Kraus, MAB P2, Matsuda, and that's talk about being fortunate. MAB being a P2 after what happened on pit road. He should be thanking the racing gods. Green flag, and we're back underway here. Lap 75 of 150 at Texas. It's the iRacing, it's the IndyCar iRacing Series here on Race First, round 2. It always sounds better if we would call it the iRacing IndyCar Series instead of the IndyCar iRacing Series. But that's what they call it on the schedule, so I'm not going to question them.
If I can be honest, being the newbie that I am here in the iRacing universe, that's what I thought it was the first year that I was doing it. I was like, oh yes, totally sounds better. All good. Everybody's pretty much single file. They're fanning out a little bit in the corners, just searching for some clean air, trying to get those tires back up to temperature and keep them not from getting overheated in the dirty air.
Man on a mission, Alex Van der Sant, taking the wide line in turn 1 and 2. He's trying to get a few positions back after whatever happened under the caution, but he's just passed
Shiba.
Yes.
So the danger from running up there, though, if they're not expecting you to go up there, and I'm willing to bet a lot of the guys down here in this portion of the field have not been passed very much up high. The danger is when you pass up high, that car down low continues to keep coming up because they're not used to you passing up high, and you make contact against the wall.
Another thing to consider as well too is if the car is not set up properly, you will actually put more heat and more wear by running faster outside. Doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen with some setups, but I'm wondering if more often than not you're going to be tuning a setup in an oval for the best ideal line, which at Texas would be inside. So you might just have to be floating back and forth. Again, might be able to do something with the tools there. Might be able just to maybe soften up the ARBs a little bit, especially in the rear, just to kind of save that rear tire wear there. That might be why you see a little bit of understeer coming out of turn 2 and turn 4. But you know, Alex is definitely making progress here right now. It'll be interesting to watch his progress throughout the rest of the stint.
There we see the best laps of everybody on the ticker there. 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. Alex up high.
Yeah, that's going to be another easy position for Alex, just like that. Just takes it. And he's going to go for another move on Jonathan Oshalim.
2 positions, 1 lap.
Easy.
Now he's coming up on Hollabaugh.
Yeah. I mean, with experience from racing with Alex, if something goes wrong in his race and he's got the confidence to come back, he's going to be so much quicker than you, and with the right mindset, Alex is a very strong and capable driver of coming back through the field and just whooping everyone.
Do have to say we do have a really good battle again for about 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th as well too. Got a nice pack with Orman, Wilhite, Ike, and company right here all together.
Hugh Olsen pass on Matsuda for P4.
Newsom also making some progress back up through. Again, it'll be this is gonna be a good showing of progress from the back runners to see how much further they can get up through the field here. I'm very surprised that they're being able to maneuver so quick. They must have these setups maybe a little bit of higher downforce, be able to deal with the traffic a little bit easier.
On the ticker, we got the best laps for everybody in miles per hour. Looks like, near as I could tell, fastest lap is Lion 2:16.6. That was turned at some point during the race. We can also show you the last laps that everyone turned. Not quite as fast. They get into a bit of a rhythm between the 110 and 115 range.
Yeah, about a lap ago now, MAB took the lead from Kraus, and there's about a 4 or 5 car group looking to take a sniff of P1 if they can.
Yeah, don't look now, but Adam Crane is on a mission as well. Kind of settled in for the moment, but he is definitely just lurking. Kind of lifting off a little early in the corners too, just biding his time.
Crane up 16 spots. Olsen up 13. A little bit further back in P7. Jesper Orman up 15. Andreas Ike up 15. Alexis Newsom up 13.
It was almost a little bit of contact between Adam and
yeah, getting
Hugh
close there.
Olsen.
Now,
Yeah.
now the danger you have there with Adam being in North America and Olsen being in Europe is the inevitable or the always famous netcode. You got to give yourself a little extra room here. And netcode is even more of an issue in IndyCar racing because of how fast these things are versus you hear the netcode argument in some of the other series, the more full body car series, you hear it, but not quite as much as you do in IndyCar, just mainly because of how fast they are and the predictive software for the collisions and iRacing sometimes goes a little havoc.
Yeah, any single seater, especially on an oval, is the momentum that you carry. It's just not going to have enough time, so you're going to have weird little glitches and calibration of interpolation that the server will be like, you guys, I guess you guys hit.
That's
and
a collision. Or you're going to hit.
Actually, you know what? You saw a good example of that earlier with
Olsen.
Ooh, good save. Very good save by Hugo. My goodness.
And I was in the middle of a drink right there. But again, that's getting loose on the low line off of 2. After he captures his breath, he's probably adjusting the weight jacker a little bit. But yeah, that was some fast hands there.
So for those of you who might not be quite familiar with Indy cars, at least with in-car adjustments, your weight jacker settings will pretty much offset the balance of your car.
Ooh, there it is! Contact into the wall! Ooh. That was it right there. Now we're going to get a caution or not? I think that was with Treno. Contact with Treno in turns 1 and 2. Olsen in the wall, staying up on the wall, doing the right thing there. Trying to find a groove or a spot where he can get down. I don't know if he can steer right now. Hugo Olsen, in an incident, I believe, with Brandon Treno. Let's go back in time real quick and check that. It didn't bring out a caution, but there was... we were even kind of talking about it.
Oh, we got Treno to the pits now.
Yeah, Treno's car suffered some side pod damage. I'm almost certain, maybe a little bit of wing damage, at the very least. He did slap the wall after that incident as well, too.
Now this is for the race all up in the air, and this could be anyone's race now.
Matt Hollabaugh say Matt Hollabaugh over the comms was very surprised there was not a caution.
Oh, and then Trano into the wall on exit as we were watching Olsen.
Yep.
All right, so now let's get back to live racing here, and that's you're right. That's really thrown this race into anybody's ball game at this point. Trano was your pole setter, was leading much of the first stint. Was challenged by MAB. MAB here currently your leader. Surprisingly, MAB managed to stay up with the leaders after that really bad pit stop he had. That caution was very fortunate for him. He should maybe go get a lottery ticket as well.
I tell you what, as we're getting close to 2/3 of the way distance, I do have to say my money is on none of the top 4. I think Chris Wilhite has a very, very, very good opportunity here. If it stays green, he'll be able to take at least 5 more laps.
Well, and he needs to stay out of the wall.
I guess I'm just cursing people today. I don't know.
He got really close, and it's close enough that he had to let his teammate Jesper Orman on by. Jesper Orman now up to 5th spot.
I'm just going to use... Oh, no! Ooh, still looking a little unstable there. I'm just going to start using pronouns from now on. No names. No names. He, she, they. There we go.
This is what I mean, though, about the race being anyone's race now, because everyone is on different strategies. So one strategy could work, the other one could work, and you know we've got people that are in between strategies as well. So you've got the likes of MAB who pitted on lap 59, and then you've got Will Lyon, Chris Wilhite on that pitted on lap 71, and then you've got the likes of Adam Crane and Jesper Orman who pitted on lap 66 and 67. So you've got all these people that are in between and on one end or another. So it could be super interesting towards the end of the race now, who takes what strategy and who ends up where.
Well, watching Chris, looks like he's recovered, got his momentum built back up. If you watch the old IndyCar races from the 90s with Bobby Unser in the booth, he always talked about how these things are like a flywheel. They get faster as you proceed to get more laps into these things. And so once you lift a little bit, the downforce of these cars even act as a bit of a brake. Slows them down, took him about another lap to get back going. But he's now on the attenuator of Matsuda, but Jesper Orman, who was behind him, is gone almost and checked out. We got a car on the apron there. I think that might have been Olsen. Nope. Trano is coming off of pit road. Not sure who else was coming on pit road. But Wilhite getting around Matsuda. Matsuda on the high side. Matsuda's like, I'm going to cross over. Going down low, turns 3 and 4 is going to get that position back more than likely.
I believe we're going to be having some early pit stops. People trying to get an undercut on everybody else with about 48, 47 to go here. A little bit of rolling the dice here.
Yeah, and here it is, Alex Van de Sant.
Now the risk here is potentially getting trapped a lap down. There is quite a danger zone, especially if some of those intermediate strategy people go long. As Sheba, I just caught by chance, hits the wall. It's no caution, but there is some damage. But there is a risk for these drivers that are pitting right now, but it may pay them dividends. Get a couple extra spots.
Now this is Alex M.O. If you need to change the strategy and do something on pit road, that is what he's going to do. And he is now underway, and that should be his last stop. He is good to go to the end.
Yep, barring anybody getting fresh tires with a late caution and make up some positions, these should be the final pit stops going forward of the race.
Bringing the camera to Sheba after hearing that little contact with the wall. Seems to be okay right now.
Just for the time being, I'm just going to focus on Alex, because before he came into the pits, he was 4.5 seconds behind MAB. So if he can lay down some really good lap times over, say, like the next 10-15 laps, he can really make an indentation on MAB's lead.
Yeah, he's got clean air right now, which will be good to get up to speed. but if he can just get the toe of that car in front of him, he's going to be really good. He's right there on the fringes of the draft.
Yeah, draft envelope on these cars is about a second and a half.
And 2 seconds if you're at Indy.
What's going to be very interesting is when are the leaders going to pit?
Yeah, MAB current stint 48 laps, so he's due soon. Kraus 44 laps. Jesper Ormond 40 laps. Adam Crane 41. Chris Wilhite 36. So we got a number of cars that are getting ready to hit pit road here within the next 10 laps. Will Lyon, I believe. Oh, nope. That was just a flasher.
Newsom has pitted as well, has swapped strategies, so going to try to make up a little bit more ground with that undercut.
Will Lyon on pit road.
It's an Indy Alliance party on pit road now.
I tell you what, you could race these races by yourself, but it's a whole lot better when you're with a team.
Oh, Joshua Bolt in the wall out of turn 2. I don't think it'll be a caution because he kept the car going.
That's the second time for him.
Yeah. He's making good friends with that wall.
Yeah, and probably some negative I rating to go with it. So he'll probably want to do another the race tomorrow to make up that difference. But his day, well, I said it looked done before when he had the wobbly wheel and it got repaired. Let's see if he's done here or not. Well, he's going to go get it serviced, so we'll see if he makes it back in. But Joshua Bolt now falling back to P17. Okay,
So
MAB on pit road.
Yes. And it's going to be really interesting now, as I was saying, needed drafting help. Newsom and Van de Sant are both linked up together. They have worked together in the past in other organizations. So it might be interesting. Maybe they can have a little bit of a partnership going forward. To try
for a cup of coffee, I think they were on IAR for about 3 or 4 weeks together.
Now it's going to be interesting where Brazil does come out as well.
We are watching Brazil right here. He is coming on out. We'll see where Alex Van de Sant is in comparison to him.
Van de Sant just crossed the start-finish line.
Yeah, it's Brazil exiting pit road right now. And now into turn 3, so pretty decent margin.
Yeah.
I think Brazil might have timed that perfectly with compromising the end of his run and then actually just defending against that undercut.
And with
also,
him, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, also, Alex has been dealing with a little bit of traffic as well, too, so that hasn't helped very much either.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say was because Alex pitted 10 laps earlier than MAB, MAB would have to put 10 laps of fuel less in the car, so that would save his fuel stop time a little bit. So
got Chris Wilhite coming out of the pits up to speed. Alex Van de Sant with a full head of speed. Looking to go 3 wide into the turn there.
It's the most interesting thing about oval racing strategy, especially the end run, your money stop, is, yeah, undercuts can usually work nowadays, especially in open wheel oval racing. However, yeah, you put that less amount of fuel in the car. If you can bank up enough laps, you'll definitely be able to just make up the time that you would lose on the track. And I think that's a nail in the head from our good friend Isaac here. That is playing out right before our very eyes.
Here is a battle for 10th. Newsom, Lyon, Wilhite. And right above them is Jesper Ormond, who's also part of that IAR stable.
Just as a note, I was just about to say I wonder when Crane and Kraus are going to be pitting. Crane just got very, very, very loose off of turn 2. Smacked the wall, made a little bit of a mark with his tire, with his right rear tire. No damage, but it was on a knife's edge there. It looked like he was hustling around Long Beach there more than around Texas Motor Speedway.
Well, he has on lap 52 of his current stint, so I'm sure that right rear is pretty well spent. He's got himself a 4-second lead over P2, Jonathan Oshlam. And Jonathan, if we're saying that wrong, just let us know how to say it right. Sorry. Otherwise, we'll just refer to you as Jonathan. We got some smoke on the backstretch from something.
Let's see where that was from. Looking at it now. Somebody on the apron at the very least.
Trey Shadid looking for a way around the leader here to get his lap back on the gearbox. Looks like he is obviously a little quicker, just to not be able to find the opportunity to get by. Whoa!
Oh, big block.
I'm sure Sheba's not happy on that one. We're starting lap 55 of this current stint. He saved quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, Crane and Hollabaugh are the only two of the leaders that have not pitted yet.
Coming to 25 to go here soon. In the twilight stages of round 2 here at Texas of the IndyCar iRacing Series here on RaceVerse. Couple different leaders today. Been clean and green pretty much since the beginning. Got off to a rough start, first 15 laps or so. Crane struggling out of turn 2.
Oh. Yeah, I think he's just trying to hold on for a little bit of a caution at this point.
I think he had enough. I think he's making it. Yeah, there he is.
There we go. Up.
So now will Hollenball and that AAR car make the turn. I mean, these guys got to be hemorrhaging time at this point.
I would say, looking at the timing sheets, you know, MAB, his last lap was a 24.6, and Crane was doing around about 25.1, 25.2. So, yeah, half a second, give or take a lap, you know, over a couple of laps, that is going to build up. And the only thing I think Crane can do now, and same with Matt, is come in, pit, take the fresh tires, half a tank of fuel, and just full send it to the end of the race.
I believe we're going to have Matt coming in this time by. It's really good to see a good friend of mine leading a couple laps here.
Oh.
But yeah, those
his tires are spin. I mean, that lap car just came up on him like he was setting still.
26.17.
That is is that Jonathan Olschlam? Yeah, that's him. But we'll catch Hollenball hitting pit road right here. That now will turn the lead over to Marco Brazil, MAB. And this is a battle for the lead right here in turn 3 between Jesper Orman and MAB. Side by side, teammates from the IIR stable coming out of turn 4.
Jesper powering hard on that outside line. Really making it work right now. Should be interesting to see the momentum. He might be able to set up a move here. Might be able to set up a crossover onto turn 3 and 4. We'll see what he gets, the kind of run he gets. He's got to run. Marco defends.
Oh, yeah. Now the snake's beginning.
Mm-hmm. They've got some rattlesnakes right here, and they are live here on the track right now. My goodness. Let's hope they don't bite each other.
Now let me give the IndyCar. IndyCar actually does have a rule for blocking. And the IndyCar definition of blocking is I can make one move, which he's wanting to do right there, but it looks like Jesper got under him. But if you make a second move in reaction to the car behind you, that is blocking. Now, there are certain ways around it, a.k.a. the Pruitt fade, but that is pretty much the rule right there. But Jesper Orman, now your leader. Been watching him all day. Just a slow and steady climb, plus 21 spots for this guy. Not a great qual run, but as you were saying earlier, if you might have a great race set up, and it doesn't really matter where you start, and that's exactly what's going on. A little bit of strategy and a pretty good race setup. But Jesper Orman is now your leader, coming with 20 to go.
I mean, you have Orman and Wilhite both on the podium at the moment too. Both teammates,
We
both
got
been working well together.
all 3 IAA cars up in the
oh yeah,
top
Marco,
3 right there.
duh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Having a little bit of a brain fart there.
I believe the IAR squad is the youngest of kind of these other teams out there. Team Talent, I5G, Powerslide, those guys have been around for a long time. IAR is only within the last year and a half or so, I guess. I have to find that out for sure, but I know that they don't have nearly the time spent service-wise as those other guys, and the fact that they're dominating over those long-established teams. I mean, you got to think of Powerslide and I5G and Team Talent as your Team Penske's, your Andretti Racing, and your McLaren Aero teams type thing.
I definitely. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say about what you said, Gary, about IAR being the youngest, because I think beforehand they teamed up with Three Crowns Racing, and that's where the likes of Alexis, Jesper, and some other guys came from. Obviously, Alexis is on I5G now, but it just goes to show how a good partnership can help you progress to a bigger and better team.
I do want to give a quick shout out, since he is leading, to Jesper for personally when I was starting out, helping me kind of understand everything. A lot of the former Three Crowns, now IAR people, have helped me a lot. So yeah, it's good to see him having a great run and showing that he is pretty freaking good at this car.
Yeah, he has himself about a second buffer and a lap car between him and P2. And that lap car is not helping MAB any bit. And who is that? I think that might be that Gerhardt? Yeah, that's Gerhardt. Laura Gerhardt there in the Starbucks number 20. Now, it is sporting a color I'm not a fan of. Green's bad luck in racing, if you didn't know. Except British racing green. That's okay. Currently, Laura is P15. First car 1 lap down. And right now, kind of, I'm not saying holding up Marco Brazil, but MAB would sure like the, there we go. He's wanting to get around. He was looking up top there. I think he's trying to figure out the cleanest air to get there. Laura's staying low.
I think Laura's just trying to let him by, because Laura's trying to stay pretty low. Good run from Laura, by the way. Up 3 spots. I haven't seen Laura around too much. Ooh.
So, I'm sorry about that. Now we got a battle between Wilhite and Brazil, and we almost had contact between Brazil and his right rear and Wilhite. Now we're going to go 3 wide into turns 3 and 4. Pucker up, folks. Oh, there we go.
Austin's great battle. If they keep battling like this about 4 or 5 laps, though, Kraus and Newsom will join this battle, though. They are on a tear themselves.
Going through 3 and 4 here is like threading a needle versus 1 and 2. 1 and 2 just seems like it's so wide open. Then when you see 3 and 4, it's just pretty much you get to the bottom, and it's like threading the needle. It's so narrow.
So to give you an idea of how much just a little bit of battling and a little bit of side-by-side works, Wilhite and Brazil averaged about a 24.9 between the two of them for a lap, just to kind of make up the gaps. Kraus and Newsom, 0.8 flat, 24.8. So they're making up about a second, or a tenth of a second to 0.2 of a second a lap. So they could have time if they keep battling, but it looks like it's starting to settle down a little bit.
You think that's a big deficit? Adam Crane in P8, his last lap was a 24.5, and this time by a 24.6.
They're hustling.
So, yeah, he could be stirring this big pot of chili real soon.
We've been talking about food all day, now I'm gonna have to get something to eat after.
Well, chili's appropriate for Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeehaw, folks.
Take a look to the leader up front, and that is Jesper Orman now. He is Got the lapped car of Trace Shadid in front of him. I want to say Trace is really holding him up. Trace got some pace to him.
Yeah, I've raced Trace a couple times on the open side of things, and he is a pretty quick driver. As long as he has the right set underneath him, and he's done a sufficient amount of practice, he can really be up there with the fast guys, and he's definitely got some talent.
Jesper getting around Shadid there now. Coming up to Justin Petschauer, who's 3 laps down.
For winding down here, one thing to note is half of the top 10 started outside of the top 15. So the cream has risen to the top as usual here. I'm very, very, very awesome to see so much overtaking, so much close action here.
And that's the MO of an oval. Now, when we go to Long Beach here in a couple weeks, that might not necessarily be the case.
Don't want to call the race just yet, though. Brazil's still lurking behind Wilhite. Wilhite's still trying to chase down Jesper. A little bobble, a little bit of a spin, and you've seen Crane do it. You've seen Wilhite himself do it out of turn 2 especially. And that'll just open that gap right back, or that'll close up that gap right back to each other. It's going to be a fun finish. Hopefully we make it without a caution.
Yep, just hit your marks. Just hit your marks. That's kind of what I would be telling my driver. Just calm down, hit your marks, keep going. Now, Wilhite around Brazil, so it's Orman, Wilhite, Brazil, still an IAR podium.
Kraus is now within a half second, though, of Brazil, so that's going to be an interesting battle to watch here. Coming to the line with about 3-4 laps to go here.
Crane around Lyon for P6. Look at that battle, they tail into that one.
Kraus running a little bit high, having to deal with a little bit of traffic, though. Took a little bit of air off of his wing, could not quite get the run that he wanted to. Right on the back of Brazil, though. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a good last step battle here for the podium. All right,
yeah, especially with a couple of lap cars in there, mixing it up.
He's looking. He's really thinking about diving on the inside there through that quad oval there. He's really thinking about that. That grass is not fun, though, on old tires especially. You don't want to touch that.
And taking the white flag. Here's Jesper Orman.
I don't want to jinx it, but do you think we could see Kraus get a little bit frustrated and just go for it?
Oh well, Brazil got very loose off of 2. He's having to defend really, really hard. It's going to be a run to the line here.
Jesper Orman with the win.
There's a super close finish between Adam and Alexis as well. Oh my.
My goodness.
Oh. Ooh.
Close between everybody here. Wow. And an IAR 1, 2, 3. What a performance by that team, especially with the new members that they've taken on. Wilhite, Brazil, and Jesper running out front. That is mad impressive. Mad impressive.
And here's the photo opportunity.
Triple burnout? Maybe? Hopefully?
They need to stagger him. They need to stagger him like the podium. They kind of are, but they got Wilhite down low. Okay, so he's gonna go out in front. Wilhite there do his burnouts for the virtual crowd down on that end. But let's take a look at today's final results here from Texas Motor Speedway in the IndyCar iRacing Series. Your winner, Jesper Orman, who gained 21 spots. Very impressive. Kind of ran away there at the end, is your winner. Chris Wilhite, the defending champion of the Fixed Series, is P2 here. Marco Aurelio Brazil, MAB, is finishing third here on the podium. Your top 5 is Matthias Kraus and Alexis Newsom. Your top 10, Adam Crane, Will Lyon, Andreas Eich, Jonathan Olsham, and Cesar Manzato for P10. Your top 15, Alex Van Desant recovers to P11, Matt Hollenbaugh 12th. Sheba, P13, she did 14, and Gerhardt 15th. Moving to the other half of the field, Graybill 16th, Petschauer 17th, Matsuda 18th, Bolt 19th, Rob 20th, Treno 21, Hugo, disappointing finish, but a 22nd. Tim Tomes, also a rough day, 23rd, Goydam 24th, Franzoni 25th, and Kubutski in a 26th. And that rounds out your 26-car field. Let's see if anyone is in the broadcast waiting room, and I see Marco Aurelio Brazil, so we'll bring up MAB first here. Hey Marco, you're in the booth with Gary, Isaac, and Nick. Congratulations on the P3. First things first, though, your pit stop. You managed to recover from that, and you were pretty lucky. But on still that, if you didn't make that error, would the outlook be different, or would you still be in third spot?
Good night, everyone. Our spectators is very happy for me and the team. And the first stint, I try save the fuel behind the train, but I have a problem with the tires. Is the overheated tires.
Mm-hmm.
Stop and make a mistake in first pit stop and return after the P7, P8, and the yellow flag. I stay on track. Return and P2 is overtake, and the P1 and the first laps of the after the green flag, and try open in the clean air. The car is good. Try open the possible, but Jasper Chris is very fast, is working much in this weekend in the setup of the car. He's very, very happy for the team. Is the great guys, workers in the week, and so very happy in this race. I like much Texas for me on the best track in the IndyCar. For me is best for in the Indianapolis. I prefer the Texas than Pocum, and still very very happy.
Isaac, Nick, you got any questions?
Mark, I was just gonna ask you. Towards the end there, you were battling with your teammate with Chris, but you also had Kraus behind you. What was it like balancing out, having to push to stay on the podium, but yet, not wanting to compromise you or your teammates' finish? Did you feel comfortable?
No comfortable.
I've been there too, I know, trust me.
The one light and the Kraus is very fast with the tires better than my tires, and I try hold every time, but the update, the Chris overtake me to stay in the draft to try open, and the Kraus, and the final is a heart attack. Book, 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 book.
Yeah. You did a great job defending there, mate. You really did.
Thank you, guys. I'm very happy.
Before we let you go, do you have anybody you'd like to say hi to, shout out to, while we have you here? I guess that's maybe a no. Okay. Well, Marco, congratulations, P3. We will see you here in a couple weeks at Long Beach.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let's bring up P2, Chris Wilhite. Hey, Chris, you're in the booth here with Gary, Isaac, and Nick. So from the fixed championship to P2 in the second race of the IndyCar iRacing Series Round 2 championship. Great run. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, what an amazing start to the season. Actually won the top split Wednesday night. But then this was a higher SOF, so this was a big race here, being on the broadcast. So real happy about second place. Yeah, qualified decent, and then made up a few positions. The car was really good on the long run. So obviously we had quite a few cautions there in the beginning. We were just dying to get that long run speed going, and finally got it and had some good battles there. Alex Van de Sande, him and I were wheel to wheel there for a while.
Those are some great battles right there. We were watching every bit of that.
Literally, we were kind of swapping for a little while, and then we even pitted, and then we came back out swapping. It was great, and then just played the pit strategy right. And then we're just praying for no caution there the last 25 laps, and it worked out.
Isaac, Nick.
I
Chris-
just,
Oh, go ahead, guys.
yeah, I was just gonna say, it was just all in all just a great performance from you tonight, Chris. You know, started a little bit lower down, but you just bided your time, and you ended up getting yourself a nice little P2 there. So I just want to say congratulations, man. It was a really good job.
Yep, thank you very much, Isaac. Appreciate it.
Chris, I'm just gonna ask you real quick the same question I asked Marco. What was it like to balance that battle with teammates, but yet wanting to go for that glory? Was it nerve-wracking for you towards the end there? Obviously you trust the guy. Like, don't get me wrong, but I know it's always tense there. How were you feeling there?
That's a great question, Nick. At first I was watching Jesper and Marco battle out for the lead, right? And they got wheel to wheel there a couple times, but they were good and gave each other space.
Right.
But yeah, you definitely race your teammates a little bit different. You got a little more space there. But yeah, no team orders by any means. We were going at it hard. I could tell. I knew Marco's car. He had a little bit different set, and I think his car was wearing the tires a little bit more. So I kind of got a feeling I would get to him on the longer run. So I was just kind of biding my time a little bit. I could see he was starting to push. And then, I actually, now that I think about it, that was a 3-wide move that I made the pass.
We had that one on the route broadcast too.
Yeah, and that was the moment I came on the radio and said 3-3-3, and we were good. We made it through, and it was smooth sailing to the end. But what a great afternoon for Indy Alliance Racing, top 3, and then Will coming home 7th, and we had all the big hitters here today. Crane was here, Alexis, Trano, and IIR with sweeping the podium. That's awesome.
Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, congrats. And while we got you here, you know the procedure. You've been on this program before. Shout outs. Anybody want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, no, there's quick shout to IAR and Jesper and Thomas and all those guys over there. My new teammates here for about a month, and a great run with those guys. And shout out to you guys, and welcome to the booth, Nick. I look forward to watching it back this weekend. Appreciate what you guys do. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. P2, Chris Woolheit. Congratulations, and we will catch you at Long Beach.
Sounds good.
Hey, Chris.
All right, let's bring up the champ. My man, the GOAT, Jesper Orman. Congratulations, man. You're in the booth here with Isaac and Nick and myself. P1, you gained 21 spots from the start of the race to the end and kind of won it running away. Tell us about your day, man. It looked like you had a great strategy and a great setup.
I'm so pumped up, Gary. Let's go.
Let it flow, man. Let us hear it all.
Yeah. I'm not the GOAT. You are the GOAT, Gary Goat, so. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm so happy.
Hey,
the team is P1, P2, P3.
Yeah.
And, let's go. I'm so happy.
Just got to tell us about your race in general. You had a great strategy and a great setup, and you just worked your way up to the front. You had to do a great deal of passing. How was traffic out there?
Yeah, I almost forgot about the race. My car felt really good. The first stint, I started in the back. I was behind Hugo, kind of following him through the field a little bit. And when there was a few yellows in the beginning, so I started to fill up just like Hugo, so that meant I could go a little bit further in the first stint. And towards those last 10 laps, I really felt my car was good. I was like catching Hugo. I even overtook him because he kind of struggled a little bit with the tires. And at that point, I knew I had a really good car, and went into the pits, and yellow came out like 3 laps after I was in the pits. So that jumped me up to like I think like P7 or something.
Mhm.
And from there on, I just tried to manage my tires as good as possible. There was a lot of cars going on the high side in turn 1, which I don't approve of. I think that's a tire killer. I was trying to keep it on the low line all the time, and my tires felt really good. And well, okay, we had a green flag pit stop, and I had to catch Marco for P1 in the last stint, and he pitted like a few laps earlier, so I had a little bit better tires than he had. But then once I got past him, I had like 20 laps to go. I realized, oh, I'm like half a lap short of fuel.
Oh,
I had to go into engine map 3. But luckily, I had my teammates behind me, and they like kind of covered me because I kind of lacked a little bit pace there in the end. But yeah, P1, P2, P3 for the team. That's great.
Yeah, Jesper, it's Nick here. Awesome job. Like seriously, I it's gonna be more of an observation, less of a question, but it kind of looks like going into we're still a couple months away, but going into the month of May, it looks like you got yourself a little bit of a mini powerhouse team building here, especially with the new formation of the IAR organization from the former Three Crowns Racing. You've definitely got something building up here strong, and if you wanted to make a comment on that with your talent, your other drivers,
Yeah.
like take the floor. That's awesome. Seriously.
Yeah, that's a great question, Nick. We feel that we are. I mean, the other teams they are signing new drivers, and they're like i5G. They have all those great drivers, and Powerslide have gotten several great drivers lately. So
Sure.
we need to do something. So we have acquired Chris Wilhite lately and Will Lyon, and we're looking for maybe add 1 or 2 more strong drivers on our setup for May. I'm so much looking forward to the month of May. I can't wait. That's my favorite month of the year, and I'm ready to put in lots and lots and lots of hours practicing to get into that top split, which is my personal goal. And for the team, we're hoping to get a few drivers in the top split for sure.
Well, you have a lot of momentum here. You have a lot of momentum within the iRacing IndyCar Series with very, very, very strong points today for all of your drivers so far here. And obviously just keep that momentum going, and I hope the best for all of you on the podium. That was awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Isaac, you got anything?
I think Nick pretty much covered everything that I wanted to ask. Yes, but to be fair, but just from me, yes, but great job out there tonight, man. Was it 22
Thanks, Isaac.
positions that you gained? That's an ungodly amount, and yeah, just hats off to you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say that I think that it was a shame for the race that Brandon and Hugo got in contact there. Could have been a great finish with our team and those 2 guys up front there. So, but it happens.
Before we let you do the shout outs, of course, next race is here in a couple weeks at Long Beach. We know that the road courses aren't your strength. However, Long Beach is one of those courses that shows up on the IndyCar schedule all the time. So a lot of IndyCar drivers make many, many laps at Long Beach. How do you feel your chances are at Long Beach coming up going into round 3?
Well, I feel like I've improved quite a lot on road courses lately. For instance, I qualified P3 in the PMRL on Detroit, which also is a road course. And I kind of was qualifying pretty well also last year on Long Beach in PMRL. I'm definitely going to try to do that race. Of course, I know we have so strong road drivers like Adam Crane, Hugo, and all those guys. That's going to be really tough against them. Will Lyon, of course, in our own team. But I'm going to do my best, and I have a positive feeling going in for sure.
Great. All right. Shout outs. Anybody want to say hi to before we let you go?
No, to all my teammates. That was a hell of a drive of all of us today. Really happy for the team.
Well, congratulations. Go have a few drinks and enjoy your Friday and the rest of your weekend. And I'm sure you and I will talk before then, but we will definitely see you on the next program for the series here at Long Beach. Congrats.
Thank Gary for putting up this great broadcast.
All right, there you go. Gentlemen, final thoughts from you guys before we move on to Long Beach. Go ahead and start with you, Nick.
Yeah, Texas never disappoints. Kind of as we preluded at the beginning here, we're going to bookend it with a wonderful, wonderful battle. Wonderful competitors that have driven through the field, and the next race in this series will be no exception. Long Beach, chaotic, unpredictable. It is one of the toughest road courses, street circuits, any circuit you will ever drive. And it will be very exciting to see these talented drivers take place and let the standings develop. And then we'll be starting to more talk about the championship moving forward from there.
Getting into the month of May, yeah.
And then we got May, baby. Let's go.
Isaac, same thing with you. Looking behind here at Texas, final thoughts, looking forward to Long Beach, initial thoughts.
Well, first off, after tonight's race, I wish it was Texas all week, every week. You know, it was amazing to watch, and for the guys out there on the track, it must have been amazing to drive as well, because some of the battles that were shaping up, and you know, the finish, the ending that we had to the race, obviously could have been very different, as Jesper said about Traino and Olsen. If they didn't, you know, make the contact, who knows what could have happened. But going on to Long Beach, as Nick said, Long Beach is one of the toughest. It's one of the most ridiculous street circuits. You go an inch offline, brake 5 meters too late. You know, so much can go so wrong so quickly. There's curbs, there's off-cambered corners, there's corners that can lead up to nowhere. There's the hairpin. It's just so much to Long Beach that, you know, it's just going to be crazy. And to have all these talented drivers take part, you know, it's just going to be one of those races that you can't miss.
All right, well, there you have it. We'll wrap it up for today. And we'll get on out of here, give everyone back their weekend so we can enjoy the real IndyCar Texas race. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Texas is Jesper Orman with the win, Chris Wilhite P2, and MAB P3. Join Race First again April 8th for round 2 of the IndyCar iRacing Series, coming to you from Long Beach. Coverage should begin approximately 3 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Again, that's 3 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/racefirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. So if you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and have enjoyed our coverage of IndyCar Racing Series, please take a moment to visit our GoFundMe page and donate to our broadcast fund. You can find a link at the bottom of your screen or in the description. Hey, we realize world events have made money tight for everybody, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us part of your Friday afternoons this season. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support your friends at Race First with the monthly grind. Leave a comment below, let us know about today's race, and if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of Race First iRacing IndyCar programming, including our weekly coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fix top split at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and our exclusive continuing coverage of the Midwest Kidney Warriors Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. And starting again in June, join myself and Jalopnik.com's Ryan Eric King as we will bring you exclusive coverage of Season 5 of the Revolution IndyCar League's Schaefer IndyCar Series. Race First is your place for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge anywhere on iRacing, and it's all right here on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. So for business inquiries and anything to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow me, Gary Gazzo, on Twitter at Gary Gazzo. So for Nick Sudik, Isaac Morris, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gazzo saying to all, have a great weekend. Thank you for watching, and to all the men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks again, everyone. Catch us again April 8th at Long Beach for the next race of the IndyCar iRacing Series. So long.